So the previous attempt did not succeed. I'm going to try the whole thing again. I am going to begin the exercise up on top. We're grabbing the git clone command, clone the whole thing. And before you do that, you want to remove that folder. So remove the Deis folder if you're doing it again. And then clone this. We will go into that folder as soon as the checkout completes, or the clone completes. Then we will enter that folder, the Deis folder, and then check out the latest version. cd Deis, and the current version that we want is the latest one, which happens to be not this, but the latest version is tags 13.2. That's what I want to get, the latest this time. So we will grab git checkout version 1.13.2, and now we are on that version, this one. And then we will accept, I think we have a keys from a previous attempt, so we'll just use that key. But if you don't have keys, you should create new key pair like this. I think have a key pair already. You can see that in our .ssh folder. I have the Deis key and Deis.pub. Those two are available to us, so we will just reuse them. I will delete this known host file, by the way. So that is gone, and I have to not generate the fingerprint again because I can reuse my previously generated fingerprint, which I have saved already in the atom editor here. The fingerprint is available right there, so I can just reuse that. Next up, I will cat that DeisPub and put it on DigitalOcean. So that DeisPub file has to go to DigitalOcean in this location in the security settings. So let's refresh here, refresh. We should have DigitalOcean showing some old droplets. We want to kill them. We want to delete them, each one of them. If there are any droplets from a previous unsuccessful attempt, you want to destroy them. Like this, destroy. And one more destruction, destroy. Off it goes. So those three machines that we were running before are now completely destroyed. We will make sure that our key is in settings area in the security section. We have the Deis.pub provided there, so in the security you will find it. Deis.pub is available there, so we will just use that. Then we also have a access token that is already in good shape, so I will reuse that token. If you don't have a token, you go grab in the API section and generate a token for yourself. That's what you need to do, which is where you will generate a new token and use it. Next, we will proceed forward, make a discovery URL. So that URL needs to be created by this command. We need to be in the Deis folder, and then paste that make discovery URL command, which will generate this URL. It's going to be unique every time you run it, and that shows up inside Atom Editor in the contrib CoreOS user data folder in that file. So we'll open it up and identify that exact file to check whether that URL shows up there. So here is Deis, and here is contrib CoreOS user data, and that discovery URL is right there. It matches this one. Next up, we will check Terraform. We have it already, we just use it. So that if you don't have Terraform, that's how you get it. If you are ready to apply Terraform to create that cluster for you, you will go here and open the command that I have saved previously, which is in this file here. So I'll just open that file over and run that command, which is going to apply Terraform on the DigitalOcean cloud like this. and it will create a set of 3 instances with 8 GB size in San Francisco this time. Invoke, and this starts creating the machines that we want in our cloud right here. The droplets will pop up in this location momentarily. So these droplets are now getting ready, and we will have an IP address from them, 1, 2, and 3. So we'll grab 3 of them, put them in our DNS, which is what I want to be able to do. So I copied these IP addresses, and I will go to my other browser where I have my Google Cloud DNS, and this is where I will open another editor, and these 3 IP addresses from the previous attempt, I will remove them, put these new ones that we now have from the 3 droplets. We will put them one by one, one below another, and update that wildcard DNS record that we have in our DNS server. These 3 IP addresses need to go and update. So we'll go to the DNS location and modify this entry, the wildcard entry. We will go modify it. So say click and edit. With the edit button, we'll have these 3 IP addresses, replace them one at a time. So we will take the second IP address from here, put it here, the third IP address from here, put it here, and then remove these unnecessary commas. And now we have them 3, 1, 2, and 3. We save them. The IP address is safe, and the propagation takes about a minute or 300 seconds exactly. So in 300 seconds, these IP addresses will become visible to the public internet. Now we can go back to what we were doing here on our exercise, which is the next step. Setting DNS, we have done that. We have to wait 300 seconds, and then we can proceed forward to test and validate the DNS. So we will begin validation. First one, copy, bring it here, paste, and test. And it seems to succeed. Next, we will go and do the second one, copy, paste, and say yes, and it succeeds. The third one, copy, paste, and say yes, and that also succeeds. You can see the result coming back to us. Next, we have to check with the Deis control version, what version is installed, and that version is not this command, but deisctl command, which is break the whole thing, and deisctl, the version is 112.2, but we are actually running a checkout for 113.2. So we need to modify our Deis binary to match the version, which we will do that. Otherwise, this version mismatch might cause trouble. So this version we have, which is Deis control version, is older. As we have to update the newer version, we have to go into that folder, which we already have, by the way. So there is a folder called bin, and in there we have to remove these 2 binaries that we have. So Deis goes away, and deisctl also goes away. Now we have missing those older binaries, which is nice, and we will now grab the correct version that we want for the matching git checkout from this location, and we will copy the command only up to this point, and then say 113.2. That's the version I want to grab, so it will come down, and we have it now. That is available to us. And the next command I want to run is check the version of Deis control. So I'll copy that, run, and find it is 113.2, which is exactly what I installed. Nice, we'll go back. And by the way, while we are doing this, we'll also update the version of the other binary, which I just removed. So the other binary version you can get from this location, and paste. It should bring down the version of the binary, and we should just make sure its version is correct. So Deis version should also give us the correct version, 113.2, which is also now nice. Now let's go back to running Deis control. So we have the version check confirmed, the correct version installed. We have to now enable keyless login, which we are going to do this command, copy, paste, and then add the SSH agent. SSH add the appropriate private key, which is what we are grabbing from there and running it here. And now we should export this line like this, and we should also be in the right folder. We need to be in the right folder, so we'll go cd Deis and then export that line, and then Deis control list the services that are running on that location. We should have no problem, but looks like we had a problem. It failed initializing SSH client, unable to authenticate, no public key. So it looks like our eval command, we missed a step there. We did not SSH add. This was missing. Looks like I missed that step. So we had to do that SSH add, which I missed. After this, I should have typed that, but I did not. That's the reason why we have this error. So I paste that, I add it. Now identity is added, and this time I should be able to list. So I will now list, and we should see a blank entry. There we go. So that resolved it. We should see a blank result. Now we'll install and start the platform as a service. We'll first begin with configuring the platform to use our private key. Then we will configure the platform to set our domain, the custom subdomain that we have set for it. Then we will install the platform, and after that we will start the platform. And that step took a lot of time the other time. So we are in the previous attempt, it took more than an hour, and then I broke it. I got tired of waiting. So the install part is quick, but the starting part, starting the platform as a service, that part takes a lot of time, and it took more than 1 hour when I basically lost my patience and broke it. So this is ready to start. We'll run the platform start command, and this is now starting up. We started at 22:10, and I will pause recording right now, and we'll revisit the recording when this thing actually reaches its completion. So this thing finished in about 12 minutes. As you can see, this is 22:10 and this is 22:22. So it's about 12 minutes it took to finish, and that started running the platform. Once we have the platform running, what we need to do next is to list out all the services that are running, which is what we intend to do next. Like this. And you should see all the services that are active, loaded, and running, as you see in this display. I'm going to adjust the font size a little bit and run that list command one more time. And you can see that listing correct, loaded, active, running, all these services. That's what will help us run our applications when they get deployed, and all of that services actually help you. This is the PAAS, this is the platform as a service running for us. Now, once we have that result out, we need to check our Deis version, which we already know have updated to the latest available, which is 113.2, and then we will use the Deis client to register onto our own platform. So like this will help us connect and register. We'll create a username, we'll give it a password, and the password one more time. Now we give email address and the account is registered. The first user that registers becomes the administrator. That's how the code is written. So we are now logged in, like here, and we need to send our public key to this Deis. So we have that keys that we have. We need to go back to our root or home folder, which is basically go back to our home location, coming out of the Deis software completely, and we will now operate on Deis platform using the Deis command. So first thing we'll do is add the keys, and it says which key you want to add. So I want to add this key. So number 1 is the one I want to add, and so I will say number 1 and enter, and it uploaded deis.pub to the Deis platform itself. By the way, just understand that this same key is also used on the underlying nodes that we have running in DigitalOcean. The same key is used for the nodes as well. We're just reusing the key for the platform as a service also. This time, now we are ready to actually install some application. So we'll get a sample app. Here is a sample that we can use. It's sitting in that location. We will just grab it. It comes down. We'll go into that example application and check its remotes. So we need to find out what Git remote it has. It probably has no remote apart from the GitHub link. So that's where it came from, this location where the example application is sitting, and we are able to look at the remote. We need to now add our Deis remote. So we need to create a Deis app which automatically adds a remote for that example application. So we need to basically create a Deis app in our Deis platform. So like Heroku create, like you did in the other example, this is Deis create. It created an application, by the way, and so it created guided Earthman. That's the application that got created, and you can see that it has now also added a remote for us in SSH, Deis Hello Cloud Genius, and guided earthman.git. That's the name of the app that got added. We can now push our application to Deis, and that's the command to execute. This is very similar to git push Heroku master, like git push Deis master. Deis is our own platform here, and so we are going to say yes to the fingerprint. It is starting to push the application. This example application that we have here is actually getting pushed to this remote location, this endpoint, which is our own platform. That's where it's getting pushed, and it found a Ruby application. That's what this thing is. It's a Ruby Sinatra application, and it's going to run that Ruby app on our own platform. And once it starts to run, we'll open the application itself and see what it shows. That's what I'm waiting for, this Ruby app to be getting deployed correctly on that platform that we have just established for ourselves. We created the whole thing from scratch and started the platform as a service using Deis software, this one that you are looking at here, and we are using DigitalOcean as our infrastructure provider, which is these 3 droplets that we have running, and that is what these 3 things together will help us run our example application as we are looking at it right now. So we're waiting for it to actually finish installing, deploying the app, and once it is done, we should be able to see the app. So I think the app was built successfully. We will go back to our browser and read the next step, which is the Deis open, which is what I will do as soon as this command prompt comes back up from that git push that is happening. And step number 1, as you saw, the building Docker image. It built an image, and then it is downloading Slug Runner. So lots of steps involved in actually creating a Docker image for our application and then running that onto the Deis platform. That's what's going on right now, as you can see. And it is now pushing that image to private registry and then running that particular container for us, and then we'll scale it also momentarily as soon as we are able to play with it. We'll see it running first time, then we will scale it like this across 3 containers and test it out, and then do more. Don't feel limited to 3, and so it can scale way higher than 3. You can always test the limits as to how big the thing can scale on these 3 droplets. So we will test that limit also today. Waiting for this to finish, and as soon as it finishes, we will just say Deis open, and then we should be able to see the app open up right here in the new window with a funky name like we have here. Some name we will assign, some random name. That's the name we will get for our wildcard DNS domain. The name I think we have is Guided Earthman. That's the name we got randomly assigned by the Deis platform. So that's the name we will get, .hello.cloudgenie.us, and we just wait for it to finish deploying, and then we'll have some fun. Deployed, which means we should be able to open it. So it will be Deis open. That's the way to proceed opening an app on the browser. Deis open, and this should open up a new browser window and show us that it is powered by Deis and running on container ID. This is the ID number of the container that is running on. Inside one of these 3 droplets somewhere, the platform as a service manages all that. We don't have to worry about where it's running and all that good stuff. What we really worry about is whether the application runs. And you see guided earthman.hello.cloudgenie.us is the name of the DNS, name of the app that we have now running. And this is the container ID, as you know, 5362. That's what we now know, and it is running in 1 container right now. So we want to scale it across multiple containers. We can very easily scale it by running this command. Say copy that and bring it here and say paste, scale it please. So scaling takes time, so get coffee or something. Basically, I'm going to pause this video and come back when the scaling finishes. As you can see, it has scaled up to 3 different containers right now, which means we should be able to go back to that same location and notice this container number 5362, right? That's one of the instances we had before. And then let us refresh this browser. So click 5362, click again, 8A24, click again, and 5BE4. That number will keep rotating across the 3 containers we have now. And you can see that as soon as I keep refresh the page, a different container comes back to respond, and the request for this particular site, a different container ID comes and responds to every time I go and refresh the page, because it has scaled to 3 instances. But this is just 3 instances. We can actually scale to a larger number. So here is an example I want to try. Maybe go scale this app to a very large number, even more than 13 if you like. You can play with it. Should be okay with the number of boxes we have. 3 boxes, it should comfortably handle that simple application. So I'm going to say 20, and this should also work. So here we go, hit, and it is going to scale to 20 different containers like this. Across 20 different containers, it will run on those 3 boxes that we have. And but that is, we don't have to worry about those boxes because the platform handles it. All we do is write our app, deploy it here, and now we have 20 different containers running. So we can just refresh, and you will see 20 different IDs of container IDs responding to the same request as we go along. And that's the beauty of running a scalable infrastructure behind a platform. So the platform as a service will manage all that thing for us. All we worry about really is our example application in this case, but your own real application that you want to deploy and scale it out, scale it back down, like that. That's the scenario. And once we have that, once we have had enough time to actually try it out, we should go back to the Deis folder, which is where the actual code sits for Deis, and destroy the whole thing. So our destruction we can do simply by the same command which started it with a little change. So we'll open atom editor and open that saved command that we have for Terraform, and the command was Terraform apply. We'll modify it, make it Terraform destroy. So that command we have here, instead of the word apply, we'll make it destroy and copy the whole thing and then bring it here and run it and say yes to the destruction. It will go and destroy those 3 droplets, and we are all done with that particular collection of droplets. And we can close out this thing, go check DigitalOcean. The droplet should disappear momentarily, and we have completely destroyed 3 droplets, which means this DO web portal should show nothing. You don't have any droplets. After having done that part, you should also destroy your token if you're done with the exercise, so that you don't get that token doesn't get misused. So here I'm deleting my token. I'm also going to my settings and removing the public key that I have here, security, and this Deis key that I added, I'm going to delete that key also. That's good. So we have cleaned up the account, and now stop the recording. And I would like you to try this on your own. Please do that. And if you run into an issue, come back on chat, let's talk, and let's do a one-on-one session if you need help. But please try it.